Okay, and I'm recording, and I think we're all ready to go.
Wait, then let me as a backup. I am recording now as well.
Please do a backup, James. I depend on you so much. All right. Hello there, and welcome to Sweet Child of Time. It's a podcast where I introduce a sweet child to Amazon's world of the Wheel of Time. I'm your host, Steve, from Intravoid, and allow me to introduce you to my sweet child. He's Marshland Monster. I see you, James.
I hear you as well. You almost got me. Also, how you introduce me, I don't know if that's how you introduce me every time. Hey, guys, I am a sweet child and of this podcast. How sometimes Steve brings this up, it makes it seem like he is my father. That is not the case.
Not a daddy. No, not to you anyway, sir.
He could technically be my father.
Yes, absolutely.
I think you're 5 or 6 years younger than my dad.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I was 20 when you were born, so absolutely. I was virile and like losing it all over the place.
Ooh, humble, dirty brag. Drippy brag.
I wasn't even expecting to go the direction. Let me look at my notes and look at more coherent things to say.
Because I think my dad was around 20. No. He was done with... My dad was probably 22 when he had my sister. So yeah, that would have made him maybe 26 when he had me.
Yeah, I was 24 when I had Caleb. I'm just comparing you to Caleb because you're like closest to age to him. So... And plus Caleb's my sweet child, and you're my sweet child of time. I'm sorry, I just introduce and my brain turns off and I just start going. So I don't even think about like the I need you to point out the shittiness of what I'm saying.
Okay, this is just a dumb James joke. Just take it. You want to know what? I'll go over to Hopper because saying this about your daughter might come off as creepy. Is Hopper your sour, salty, or umami child?
None of the above?
What?
I guess D. He's not, I wouldn't describe him as sour because he's goofy as can be. What was the other option?
Salty or umami?
Umami, no. He's just more like a goofball that just can't control his energy.
I think that's umami. When you eat umami, you're like, ooh, that's a goofball in my mouth that cannot be tamed.
Hopper. Hey, Hopper, you're an umami.
Huh? Umami, baby.
He likes it. He's looking at me. He likes it.
All right, good. See, and if I asked that about your daughter, you'd be like, yeah, this is weird, James. I'm glad you have another individual in your house that I could ask that question about.
You don't forget about Melissa. We've got the sweet kitty cat Melissa here too.
I
don't post her as much, but she is a mainstay of this household.
All right, same question applies.
It was sour. What was the middle one? Salty. She's not. Heather would say salty because Melissa is really affectionate, but then like if we're sleeping at night at like 3 a.m, she'll come and attack faces to get her attention. Mostly Heather. So I would say that's pretty salty.
Okay.
I mean, salty sweet, in a way.
A pretzel.
A chocolate-covered pretzel. Let's see. Where are we going today? We're, Lord me. How has your week been, James? I haven't even asked you yet. Jeez.
Okay. I have a friend who needed his album mixed because of some things that I don't want to go into. Okay. He asked me to polish up former mixes that of someone that just truly did a god-awful job. But in the files that they sent, reverb was baked in. Instead of sending the dry files of like, hey, here's the mix, and then here's like the master track, because he also sent that, ooh, baby, it sucked. And I tried mixing it, with, like polishing up that mix, but the reverb was so aggressive, so present, and sometimes very muddy in the mix.
Ugh.
And I spent a day working on these. And then he's also like, oh, well, I have these dry vocals that are completely unmixed that I just sent to this person to mix. Could you try that? I was like, awesome. He sent me a few. I was like, I can do these. And I was upset about the situation, but I was like, oh, I'm going to get paid. So I went to a local shop that sells DVDs and such, and I was looking for a specific, because we're getting into De Palma movies, because Snake Eyes was so good. Check that out on patreon.com/MLM pod, engaged with Nicolas Cage. And I'm like, and he's the anti-Kubrick, because every single movie that I look at his filmography, and I'm like, well, wait, he did that, I love this dude. So Nicole really wanted to watch Phantom of the Paradise because it's Rocky Horror meets Phantom of the Opera, and she loves both of those things, even though it is pre-Rocky Horror Picture Show at the same time of Rocky Horror Show. But I think it was 72. It's parallel thinking, guys. There wasn't any internet of people saying, hey, you should rip this thing off. And it's like, nope, not in UK. De Palma was not. So I go there, and of course at this place, Laurie's Planet of Sound, it's in their staff picks. Like, the first thing you see, I look in the center, and it's like, oh, and then the guy, I bought that. But flash forward, I woke up, got all, like, I was lining up dubs. That was what I was going to do all day Monday, I believe. Only for him to, after I send him a message saying, hey, this song's all lined up, I might even be able to get all this stuff done today. He sends me a message saying, oh, so-and-so of who was supposed to mix it in the beginning got everything mixed. So I wasted a day. I'm going to ask him, I'm going to be like, hey, I know none of these mixes will be worked on. And if everything was not how it went, I wouldn't have asked for money for my time. But I did purchase a $30 Blu-ray in anticipation of me getting a paycheck. So could you at least pay me back for this $30 Blu-ray of that? And then I just bought Scarface to own Scarface.
I wouldn't even bring up the fact that it was a Blu-ray. I would just be like, I sank $30 into this thinking I was going to get paid.
Yeah.
Can I at least get paid back for that? I think that's reasonable. Mm-hmm. Not necessarily to get reimbursed for your cool purchase, but to get reimbursed for your time that you spent that you thought you were getting paid for. I mean, if we hire contractors and it turns out that they don't need to do the job that like, for example, we had a leak somewhere in one of our systems way the hell out. And I personally had to call this whole crew of guys to come out, machinery and all that crap. Turns out there was not a leak. They drove all that way for nothing. We paid them anyway. Yeah. We had to pay them for their time. So you're in the exact same boat. And there was no contract between me and this contractor. It was just a phone call. Can you show up and do this? So, I could have just been like, hey, guy, no leak later. But of course not, you got to pay somebody for their time.
I used to install trash chutes with my father, like industrial sized trash chutes. And one time, my dad lives in Michigan, so it was in the Chicago-ish area. I should say, not Chicago, it's in Illinois. So he was like, oh, I'll scoop you up and we'll go there. We get there, and truly nothing is prepared. Like, we could not do the job. And my dad was like, oh, well, when will all this work? Because they need to lay foundation and stuff in these trash chute areas in order for us to have something to anchor it to the wall. They did none of that. And my dad was like, when will this be done tomorrow? Like today, so I can work on this tomorrow? And they're like, no, it's probably going to be done in 2 weeks. And he's like, oh, well, I need to pay this person, pointing at me, so you will be paying me for this as well. So,
that's reasonable. I mean, he didn't have to, that was an Aes Sedai kind of situation. He didn't mention that this was your dad, right? Mm-hmm. So he didn't say, this is my boy here, I got to pay. No, he said, I got to pay this person. That's fantastic, dude.
Yeah, my dad rarely would say, this is my son, because then they'll be like, oh, he is doing it out of the good of his heart. And it's like, no, this asshole wants to be paid every time he does something for me.
Right.
I raised him properly, except when it comes to music and stuff. I'm like, oh, yeah, I guess $10 for this fully mixed song. That's fine.
Well, hey, man, speaking of songs, you mind if we talk about a couple bands real quick?
Yeah, let's do it.
I'm going to showcase, I'm going to billboard, I'm going to do all that crap. So this is the order I got 2 bands as usual. I was kind of thinking about just doing 1 band per episode, but I'm not there yet. So yeah, 2 bands as usual. The first guy I want to talk about. Editor's note. The artist I'm about to talk about is Chris Ratterree from Richmond, Virginia. I just forgot to mention that while I was talking about him. This guy kind of reminds me of a cross between an Introvoid and a Marshland monster because he lives in Richmond, Virginia here, and he looks very similar to me. If you were to describe me, you're also describing him. He's about my age, but he's a producer. He does beats. He does raps. He is Absolute. He's not the studio, but he works for Absolute Future Studios, or maybe he subcontracts out. I don't know their relationship, but he's related to Absolute Future Studios. He records bands like Vulcanite. He's recorded Book of Worms, Occult New Age, which that album is like taking off like crazy. Like not taking off, but I mean it's well received in the metal community. And he's the guy who mixed and produced it. He does his own stuff too. He's got this album. It's called 1971. Established in 1971 is what the album is called. It's on Bandcamp. He said, yeah, tell everybody to go to my Bandcamp and check that out. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to check out the first track from his album. This song is called Zero G. Zero G. And it's going to sound really groovy and like hip hoppy, and you can rap to it. After that, you're going to hear some speed metal. It'll be an obvious switch over. That speed metal you're hearing is Murdersome, and that voice you're hearing, you know that voice already, everybody. That's Johnny Throckmorton singing. He's fronting this band now, pulling double duty, and they're playing a show coming up very soon, May 20th in Raleigh, North Carolina. They're playing at Ruby Deluxe, which I'm not saying this derogatory, but they love, claiming that they're a drag bar. So Johnny's like, maybe I should take advantage of the situation. This is his first show with Murdersome because he just started fronting them. So we're going to hear Johnny and Murdersome after we hear Chris Ratterree. So music time.
I feel like everything I do is just a waste of fucking time. So tonight, gonna live like there's no fucking tomorrow. Let it drown myself in sorrow. Lose faith in all that I know. Running, racing, through the streets of broken dreams. Learning, burning, what this life's supposed to mean. Yes, it's not a roll in the dice, the balance up on the edge of a knife. Falling, crawling, waking up is a mystery.
Okay, did you have something to say? You pointed at me.
Oh, I'll say it when we get back. I have two notes. One, you did not say the person's name, the first person, until you introduced this song right at the end. I was like, wait, what is this? I want to search this on Bandcamp. What is it? And then two, you were like, yeah, you know this Johnny guy. And I'm like, but from what? What do I know Johnny from?
Okay, Chris Ratterree. I think that's how you spell his name. Ratterree. So yeah, he spells it kind of funky, but yeah, his beats are great. I would describe him more like a Money Mark kind of style. That's what it kind of reminds me of. And then Johnny Throckmorton, we know him. He fronted Dusty Nut Roll. He fronted Alabama Thunder Pussy, and he's the guitarist for He Wolf. And he's the guy that I was talking about that I would jump on stage and sing Jimi Hendrix songs with him. Yeah, Johnny Throckmorton. Everybody knows Johnny Throckmorton. I don't even know why you asked that silly question, because everybody was like, James, it's Johnny, dude. It's Johnny. Come on.
Okay, well, I just wanted to make sure. I love my favorite Jimi Hendrix song is this one. Oh, say, can you see?
Hand to heart.
By the dawn's early lice, what so gallantly praised for the foreskin last creaming. It's brought smegma with flair.
Just let him keep going.
Okay. I thought you were giving a stop hand.
I kind of am, but I'm like, I'll just let him keep going until he's done. He'll run out of steam eventually.
No, I know all 7 verses, so I can parody it all.
Well, we only got like 2 hours here, so let's forge ahead if we can.
Yeah, guys, you get a 50-minute episode, but it's a 2-hour record.
That's right. I got to record out all the because you sang the national anthem for like 8 countries right before we started. I got to edit all that out.
I thought that was our theme song.
I want to get back into books now so we can kind of get closer to the Wheel of Time. We got music, we got books, then we'll have Wheel of Time. So I'm still eyeballs deep into that Farewell Nikola book. I posted it on the Sweet Child of Time Instagram. There's a free link to it, so I encourage everybody to read it. I'm still reading that, so I got nothing else to say. James, do you have any words going across your eyeballs this week?
I thought I would have time to finish Death's Head. I tried last night. I had the window open. It's not warm, but it's still like, ooh, that's a nice breeze coming in. But with gas as expensive as it is, there were 2, like a car came to park, but was just burning idly and just bringing fumes into the back window over here. So I was like, oh, fuck. But then they stopped, they parked. And then right after that, a truck pulls up burning diesel. And just that went on so long that I had to stop reading and just say, well, that's it for today.
Yep. City life for you city slickers.
Well, I mean, we're not in like a city. I mean, if you go 2 blocks one way, 2 blocks the other way, yeah, you can be like, this is a city. But where we're currently at, there's this, it's a nice, you never in recordings hear ambulances and such.
True, right.
Unless it's Sean plow. It's like, dude, just pause. Wait for the ambulance to go. You don't need to just please be aware of that.
Yeah, I'm just wondering. I'm going back to like where I'd like to come over to your house, and then I'd walk 2 blocks to the left, and I'd go, oh, I'm in a city now.
Yeah, you would. Like if we B.A. Baraka'd you to our apartment, meaning like you're there in Virginia, and then you wake up here.
I imagine it'd be something like the Fan of Richmond, Virginia, because that's kind of like our outskirts of the city. We call it the Fan.
Okay. And there's also one area that it's further from me, but still it's scootable distance.
Right.
It truly is a suburb in the middle of the city. It feels like I'm in like far west Chicago. Or just in Muskegon, Michigan. I'm like, wow, this is really weird. But then if you go a mile each way, hey, I'm in a city.
I love saying that. Yeah, me and Heather went to Charleston recently, South Carolina, and it was just like Richmond. And we like walked 2 blocks, and we were like, hey, we're in a city. But no, for real, it was set up exactly like Richmond, and we would drive past certain neighborhoods. We're like, we're now in Southside, another part. We're now in Petersburg. Now we're in Ashland. It was almost identical layout to Richmond, in my opinion.
Hey, you can go a few blocks from me, and you're also on Ashland.
Oh, damn. Same.
There's a street called Ashland in Chicago.
Right.
It's not a few blocks. It's more than a few blocks. Not trying to get people to pinpoint my location.
Wow, that was an interesting book conversation we just had.
Oh yeah, Death's Head. It's weird because I don't. It's not a It's a contained storyline, but is heavily pulling from other storylines that were happening in the Marvel universe at the time. So I'm like, fuck, I don't understand a lot that's going on. I can pull from context clues because I'm not a baby of a reader. Ooh, boy, we went to a local comic book store. Not going to say that one because then people would be like, oh, yeah, I know exactly where James lives now. And the owners were talking to someone who was clearly a comic book writer of some note. Like he was discussing writing on like a Superman comic and all of that. In Chicago, you get things like that.
Okay.
Where like Nicole has just been hanging out and sees I'm not going to blow up their spot, a very famous, like one of the top-notch illustrators for comics frequents her store.
That is super cool.
And not if you knew who it was. They're kind of a chud. And no, you want to know what? They're not kind of a chud. They are a chud. And
right on.
They were just in this scream match of like shitting on this specific writer. And I was like, wow, Nicole, they like comic books too much. And Nicole laughed because they said, oh yeah, the way this person writes is just, he wants everyone to feel like life is meaningless and has no point. And Nicole laughed and she's like, that's why I like that writer.
Right. That's why I like Ivan Brunetti, who I brought up a couple weeks ago. Mm-hmm. Exact same reason.
But let's get into Wheel of Time.
Let's do it, man. We're talking about The Dark Along the Ways. This is episode 7 we're talking about. And yeah, we got another badass cold open. I don't know why I'm stuttering. My brain is getting ahead of me because I'm thinking about, I can't wait to hear your input, basically. That's all I got to say. Mm-hmm. So we start out, we have an Aiel. She's running and she's fighting. This is at the Battle of the Shining Walls. This occurred about exactly 20 years ago. Okay. It's also known as the Battle of the Blood Snow. What was happening here is there was a 400-year truce between the Aiel and that city. That truce was broken. They're fighting. All this stuff I found out in the show, by the way, in the X-ray notes.
Who are the Aiel?
We met the first Aiel in that cage.
Okay. So I was going to ask, hey, whose this baby? It's probably Rand, right?
I mean, yes. I mean, signs point to this because the red hair and the fact that like They talk about the Aiel's red hair, and then I pointed it out to you because I knew it was important. And then they talk about loyal mistakes and for an Aelman. You look exactly like an Ael, an Aiel. And so, yeah, she's obviously an Aiel because of the way she's dressed, her hair. And the reason I know those things I said about 20 years ago in the battle and all that, it was in the X-ray notes of Amazon Prime. So if you pause not just telling you, James, I'm telling everybody, if you pause watching Wheel of Time, then you have a menu of so many choices and there's so much information there. And you can do that pretty much like every scene, and there'll be like a new swath of information to take in. So, yeah, I was going to ask you that question. You said it's probably Rand's mom, and I was going to ask you who you thought that baby might be. This is some choreography out the butt. She kills like 7 or 8 dudes.
Yeah,
while giving birth.
Yeah, my comment was if it wasn't cemented that this is a feminist property, a woman in labor just murdered many capable, trained knights.
Right.
Also, this is why you don't wear a cape, one of the many reasons, because she just thwink, then stabs that dude in the eye. It was dope.
And another thing I should stress, too, is, like, she's not, like, this super strong Aiel, like, top warrior. She's just a pregnant woman, and she is able to do this. So this is another indication that the Aiel are super badass, just by their probably both by nature and by nurture, because they're all raised to be badasses, basically.
The feeling of this, it looked very Hoth meets the like where you open up the vault key door in the first Borderlands, I believe is what it's the vault key area. It's those two mixed together, and I was like, I like this imagery.
Yeah, I hadn't forgot about this scene. This scene still plays over my mind a lot, but rewatching this show now, I really am enjoying everything up until right now, a lot more so than I was the first time I watched it through. I don't know. It's just so much better now, I guess maybe because I have like all prejudices aside and there's no expectation. I'm just rewatching it for enjoyment. So it's better than I remember it. I just wanted to point that out. And I also want to point out Ciaran Donnelly. She is the one who plays the Aiel. Ciaran Donnelly, if I didn't say that funny enough. All right, anything else about that scene, or are you going to move on to our kids?
Oh, no, that's all I had to say about the scene. It was badass, though.
Yeah. We had some opening credits happen there. You know, we always love watching in the opening credits in great detail and, you know, taking in every single scene we can see. Right, James?
Do they change?
No.
Okay, then, no, I still have not seen these opening credits. We finished Archive 81, which sucks that it's not coming back because it ended strong. But when watching it, Nicole's like, I don't think I've ever seen the intro to this. I was like, we probably watched it for the first time, but every single time I'm just like, skip intro, skip intro.
That's a Heather move too. I like watching the intro every time. I don't know why. Maybe the same reason I like rereading books. I've already read Farewell Nikola, and I've already read The Gathering Storm. This is my 3rd or 4th time reading it. So I constantly reread stuff. I don't know what point I was trying to make, but I think it brings me comfort, to reread something or to live it again. So like those opening credits, I remember the first time I saw them, I was like, wow. And so now I just keep watching them because you get a little bit of that wow feeling like every time. I don't know.
Well, for this show, I need to make sure I watch it before 11 a.m. every morning that we record. So I'm like, previously on the recap as well as the intro, that's like 2 minutes that I can just skip. And then I'm like, okay. This is more doable. But Mystery Science Theater, never going to skip that intro. Community, never going to skip that.
See? You got your favorites there. All right, we're going to go ahead here. We're back in the cave. Well, not in the cave. We're back in the Ways. That's what this episode's called, The Dark of the Ways. Matt is on the other side of the gate. Everybody else is on the inside. Nynaeve and Rand are the two that seem the most adamant to express their displeasure about this and try to get him back. Rand we keep seeing him be fiercely loyal to Matt, going overboard with his loyalty sometimes. We get warned that there's this thing in there called Makan Shin. And so you can't use the one power while you're inside the ways because the Makan Shin will sense that one power and come get you. Spoiler alert, that happens. Mm-hmm. So Moraine's telling us it's probably best that Matt's not here. We can keep him away from the Dark One this way. If he's the dragon, we don't want the dragon to turn to the shadow, so it's better he's not here.
Yeah.
Kind of a weird way to look at it. They're walking through the ways. Loyal's describing the way things used to be. He's describing there used to be fruit trees and there used to be blocks. And I thought there used to be little boxes with question marks and we could hit upon them and coins would come out. And now this place has gone to shit.
I don't agree with that. This place is my ideal location to live. Always nighttime. Yeah. Thunderstorms, but no rain. I love when that happens, when it's just the sky turns gray and then you hear thunder and then eventually rain will come. But during that time when there is no rain, it's an anomaly that is so beautiful. I love it. Yes, there will get to something that's wrong with this entire world, but it's only one thing. In most places where you live, there's going to be something wrong. If you have beachfront property, you got sand, all the vacuuming you have to do, and shoebies you have to deal with.
Yeah. I mean, another good thing, too, is you're outside of time and space, which I like that a lot. You can go in there and hang out all you want and then come out and no time has gone by, which I guess could or could not be an advantage, but I hear what you're saying. I didn't even think about that aspect, that it would be a cool place to be.
You also...
I like sunlight. I got to say, I like open spaces and I like sunlight. It makes me feel much better to be in an open space.
Yeah, but everything feels like a campfire, i.e. an American campfire.
American campfire.
Oh, man. Guys, listen to that.
Please check out Ted Nugent's new song, American Campfire, and make it go viral.
It's so bad. It's so bad.
It's awful.
Torches don't make sense to me. Like, what on them makes them keep burning?
Magic.
Okay.
I mean, because these ways were like made. They were.
I mean, in real life, like when you have a torch, they still burn. Oxygen. I know in the movies, especially now, there's probably like clean burning natural gas pumping out of them, so there's not smoke going everywhere.
Yeah, it can't be magic because you can't use the one power in there. Yeah. So land. In the books, they had this oil that they used, and they could, it was a long burning thing, and it was in this globe, and it was specifically, designed for the ways. It wasn't designed for the ways, but they knew the way to contain the oil inside it so the light would last longer. I don't know.
But in real life, torches can burn for a while. What is making it? Please let us know. Sweet Child of Time on Instagram.
We need to know how fire works. We can't do another episode until we know. We already talked about the possibility of the dragons. Matt, Moraine, okay. Lan always seems to know what Moraine and Nynaeve are thinking about and worrying about. He pretty much picked up on her vibes and knew that she was worried about Matt more so than anything else. Mm-hmm. Perrin, back in the back, he can see better than anybody. He spies something up ahead. He's in the back, but he can see it before anybody else. It's a guiding stone. It's been tagged. Some asshole came and tagged it and tried to destroy it so they get lost. So they're pretty much on to the fact that something's following them. And yeah, those yellow eyes Perrin has seems like they're having a nice effect on his vision there. That's nice. Egwene and Rand
didn't really help his vision when he murdered his wife.
No, it did not. That was before he got the power, man. Give him some credit.
Wait, when did he get this power? When he was bit by a Trolloc?
I don't know. I mean, it seems like they all started kind of... showing these things all at the same time when they started getting on the road. And for him, it seemed like maybe that scratch started it all. But for everyone else, it seemed like it's kind of come out of the blue only since they've got cross paths with Moraine and Lan.
Maybe it's like serial killers. They're always capable of doing that, but then there could be like a trigger or like an instigating thing that makes you snap. That could also be for their dragon powers.
And of course, in almost all cases in fiction, and it's the same case for the Wheel of Time books, it's puberty that, brings this out.
Man,
changing from a man into a woman. But in this show, they're already grown up.
Okay.
So, that's not the case here. Oh, let's see. So Egwene and Rand are cuddling. Perrin looks bummed. Lan looks cool in his hood. I don't know why he's wearing his hood in the dark, but he looks cool. They wake up because a Trolloc has found them. This explains how the Trollocs have been getting around and how the Trollocs got to Two Rivers undetected by anybody. They were using the ways as well. Egwene uses the Mach and Shin Egwene uses her one power to thwart off that Trolloc, but in doing so, she alerts the Mach and Shin, the Black Wind, that they are there. So it comes to attack.
We get one of the best line reads in this entire show. Loyal, when this happened, just goes, "Oh dear." I loved it.
I know, just kind of matter-of-factly. Speaking of lines, we get a lot of lines to the Mach and Shin speaking to all of them, and they're all getting their fears spoken to them by it. By the way, they're taking the next exit off the highway. They're trying to get to the Eye of the World, which is like the last exit, but then they got to take the next to last exit because of this. So that's why they took this little detour.
It's very much like the end of Little Monsters, starring Howie Mandel and Ben/Fred Savage. They're one person, and they do this. Inside the underworld that monsters live, where they can go to beds, they are trying to race the sunrise so they can get to a place because the beds close when the sun rises, I think. Okay. It's a fantastic movie, guys. Check it out.
So, there's no beds here. We're talking about portal gates.
Which is like a bed.
Yeah, it's exactly like a bed. I sleep on portal gates all the time. The Mach and Shin tells Moraine, "You're not a hero. You'll eventually murder these children and call it heroism." She's got some imposters. No, the imposter would be Nynaeve. That's what the Mach and Shin tells Nynaeve, that you're an imposter. I'm getting mixed up. Allow me to back up, dear listener and dear James. It's Rand that gets told he's an imposter. He's a fraud. Egwene will never love you as much as Egwene will never love you as much as you love her. Somebody gets told she left you once, she'll leave you again. That's Rand again. Perrin gets told you wanted Layla dead. You wanted her out of the way. That's why you killed her, because you love somebody else. No. Perrin doesn't like hearing those words. He can't face himself.
Rand has a lot of insecurities, we just found out, because you were like, oh yeah, they say this to someone. Oh yeah, that's Rand. Oh yeah, they say these 3 things to some. Who? Oh yeah, that was Rand as well. Oh, well, here's it. Hey, new person said, no, wait, no, that was Rand as well.
That's right. Well, the Mach and Shin tells Lan, you can't protect her. You're going to watch her die. And tells Nynaeve, you'll hear their screams as they die, just like your parents. You can't save them. And it even tells Moraine, you're gonna lose. You lost Matt, and you're gonna lose everybody else too. So they're all suffering and thinking how terrible all this crap is.
So this is the thing about living here that would not be good. Which it looks like, and not because it's like telling me, oh, you're worthless. What my brain already says that to me.
Exactly.
So is this dark wind just a swarm of locusts?
It's a swarm of, I believe it's a swarm of like souls, like lost souls, like lost evil souls that are stuck in there.
Do they form into locusts or any other flying bug?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay, then I'm fine with this.
They want to steal their souls and make their souls part of the Mockingjin so they can be part of this. And maybe that's what you want to be. Maybe you want to be the Mockingjin.
Oh, finally have a sense of community.
That's right. You gather people in and then you tell them a bunch of like negative things and keep their spirits low. I think you can do that.
Whoa, it's like all of my co-hosts swarming around me.
Yep. All right. Yeah, Nynaeve drives them away. Thank you, Nynaeve. Moraine opens the door. The two women save them, of course. They come out. Moraine says, well done. Just put it out of your mind. I was thinking exactly what you were thinking. I mean, their heads are full of bad thoughts. They're completely shook. And she's just like, yeah, just don't worry about it. Like me, like all these thoughts always swirling through my mind. And somebody will say to me, well, at least you have your health. And I'm like, fuck my health. I wish I didn't have my health so I could just fucking die. It'd be much better right now. I mean, like, so Moraine just trying to like placate them in a real like lame kind of way didn't really work out. I'm moving on to Fal Dara.
Yeah, where some women are giving some fuck me side eyes to our fellas in the group.
That's right, man. We're at the Borderlands. This is Fal Dara. This is Lan's hometown. He's got these biker crew that's like his bros. They all got on these matching vests. We got Lord Agomar with his feathered vest. He's like a Rebecca Crow fan, I can tell. Lan is Daishan, we find out, and we'll find out more about that later. A little bit of tension between the Lord and the Aes Sedai. He kind of assumes that his sister called Moraine there to help them battle Trollocs, and he's like, we don't freaking need your help. Of course, he assumed wrong. It's not the case at all, but, people make assumptions. She actually has a pretty decent warning for them, though, that the ways are open and that the Dark One is using the ways. He takes that seriously. So that's good info from Moraine. Thank you, Moraine.
I'm so glad he took that as serious as he did as soon as he did. It wasn't like, I'll see when it... But no, he's like, nope. Everyone immediately drop what you're doing. Handle this issue.
Right on.
Do you have a Penn and Teller shirt, but just Teller on?
No, it's Tell from the Richmond band Tell.
Okay.
T-E-L.
All I saw was T-E-L, and I thought maybe the, underneath said L-E-R.
Nope, that's it. Tell. Shout out Tell. Look them up. Marshland, MLMpod.com. You'll find Tell.
You won't. But please go there.
Around this point, we get a nice 5-second, maybe not even, shot of Matt strolling away, a whole continent away. I want to make sure I didn't miss anything before I move on, because we're here at Tarwin's Gap. They're talking about that they can handle their own shit. We don't need you, Moraine. Yeah, tension. Yeah. Moraine goes into towns because she wants to see Min, the seer. She won't tell Lady Amalisa exactly why the ways, but we do learn that Lady Amalisa, is the sister of the Lord, and she's the woman in white with the ring that doesn't have a jewel in it. We learned that she trained at the White Tower, that she wasn't quite strong enough to be an Aes Sedai. Her allegiance is to her city and, to her brother. Yeah. But the big X I have right here is Moraine sends the motherfucking Red Aja after Matt.
Yeah. And
did you catch that? Yeah, exactly. Rand's still shook by all those whispers, but as they walk through town, Perrin's quick eyes can see Padain Fan. And if you listen, you can even hear the little Padain Fan whistle theme song as he walks by, too, which is pretty badass.
Wait, didn't we also hear that in the darkness?
I thought we just heard growling.
We heard a whistle.
That would make absolute sense how Padain Fane is there.
All
he
right.
Snuck in the gate after them. He exited after them. He had a Trolloc there for backup. for some muscle. I don't know, but that makes a lot of sense. Because I didn't even think about the fact that how Pedane Fan got there. And now that you mention it, that's exactly how he did, probably.
Because I remember, if I had remembered that he whistled a lot, I would have been like, oh, shoot. And that's why Egwene wakes up, because she hears something that she probably has heard before. Yeah. And a familiar sound. And she's like, what is that? She sees the Trolloc. Then, flash forward, holy shit, he is part of the darkness, the army of. Yeah. And yeah. It's a bad omen that he's there.
Yeah, but they don't think so. They're just like, it's not him. He's dead. Everybody from friggin' Beltane is dead. That was a little celebration they were having was Beltane. So maybe not everybody in their town is dead, but everybody who is in town for Beltane, they assume is dead.
The Peddler sounds like an ICP song. Like it's either the Peddler is someone with the Dark Carnival who peddles in
merch
darkness.
He's the merch man.
Or the Peddler is a villain of the Dark Carnival, don't want to get into anything he peddles.
I would say he was either a ticket scalper or he's a merch guy or he does like bootleg merch, perhaps. I think bootleg merch is probably the best option.
Well, no, I think he would like peddle murder to individuals who are seeking kind of
hell yeah.
like Hellraiser-esque, like, oh, I'm seeking things that will make me rich and powerful. And it's like, no, you're dying because richness is bad.
Well, nobody likes Rich Moraine as she walks into the bar here. She has this effect on every bar she enters. Everybody turns around and stares. They don't see Aes Sedai too much around this town either. Just like Two Rivers, they don't know whether to trust him or not. You know, Lord Agilmar is not a big fan. He kind of accepts her, but that's about it. We meet Min. She's going to take a look at our boys. Oh, wait, before Min, we wanted to bring up the fact that Perrin's explaining the fact that he's a vegan to everybody and explaining the way of the leaf. And, you know, it's just a new thing to them, but Perrin seems on board with the way of the leaf at this point. Min basically gets blackmailed into doing a viewing of our 4 kids here. Well, I keep calling them kids because that's how I see them, but they're adults. But did you notice the blackmail or did you just take that as like normal talk?
I took it as normal talk.
Okay, yeah, because Moraine was saying, you know, only I know about the fact that you can do these visions. It'd be an awful shame if everybody found out. Then people would be bugging you all the time for viewings. And then she said, or worse. That's when Min was like, okay, I'll play along here. Perrin's got yellow eyes. No shit. But blood's running down his chin. That's different. Rand's got a little baby. That's cute. And then for the 2 ladies, what do you think this means? A white flame and a ring of gold. They don't say which is which, but one of them is a white flame and the other one is a ring of gold.
I think the white flame would be Nynaeve because we've seen her implement that. Like the power that comes out of her is always this very white, just destruction. Okay. And I guess it's also like healing at points, but the gold ring, I would guess, you know, the Aes Sedai wear gold rings.
Right. Yeah, I immediately thought that. So I figured that you would probably immediately think that too. So you got it. I mean, at least that's what it seems like to me at this point. That's all we know. White flame, ring of gold, a baby, yellow eyes, blood running down the chin. We also know the Armorill and seat is going to be Moraine's downfall, which is not a great thing to hear. James, I hate to tell you this, but the person that you've loved all this time is going to be your downfall. Nicole. How do you take that?
I don't know. I would have assumed I would be her downfall. Cause she...
No. The visions, I'm telling you a vision right now, and Nicole... Just like Min is telling Moraine, I'm telling you, Nicole is going to be your downfall.
Yeah, and my reaction to that is, wow, I always thought I would have been hers.
Oh, I thought you were arguing on the other side. Like,
no.
Okay.
No.
So you would just be surprised. You wouldn't make assumptions or think, oh, I can see now. Like, you know, I was just wondering, like, if this made Moraine think my downfall, and then she maybe goes back and thinks about some like past things that might have happened with them that would lead to this, or start looking for clues or something, you know?
No, my guess is she is going to get usurped, and her allegiance to her will be her downfall.
Okay, yeah. Cool.
You just gave a face that's like, oh, fuck, James found out another thing.
No, I mean, you pretty much get everything right, so it's just another statement.
All right, okay.
All right, they get a little shh. The next scene, by the way, they're all talking amongst them. They being the Two Rivers. They're doing the shush, here she comes. But they go ahead and they're like, what was that bartender thing all about? What was she doing? Moraine just pretty much opens it up and tells them every single hard truth at this point.
I had one quote from the seer. She goes, asking like, oh, who's the baby that he's holding? And then she goes, no idea. Looks like any other baby. Which I think is him. Like, that is, he is holding himself, which is the baby we saw from the beginning, and that's why we were shown that in the beginning.
How would you propose that to be possible, though? Because this world of reincarnation, I mean, you die and then your spirit's reborn.
He's holding his inner child.
Oh, that's beautiful. I like that. Don't hold it over a white flame, though. Please don't do that.
And don't hold it over. Baby. Don't hold it over a wolf man with yellow eyes.
And hold the neck. Make sure to hold the head up. Don't let that neck. Ugh. Okay. We already know all this stuff now. She tells them, yeah, everything. Y'all are whoever's not the dragon is gonna die. She says a couple of nice quotes here. It's easy to use doubt as a crutch. Doubt is the first step towards darkness. And then we heard Lan say behind her, no doubt is the first step towards Ska. Ah!
Yeah.
They got to decide tonight what they're going to do. Egwene's on board no matter what. She's all in. Perrin points out that, yeah, Moraine, she could be misleading us. She could just be straight up wrong. We don't know. And then they start talking about Matt. Like, why can't it be Matt? And then we even have more Matt loyalty from Rand here. And he's like, I don't know, getting into Egwene with that. Perrin stands up for Egwene, and it gets really awkward here. Why did Nynaeve have to open her mouth? It gets very awkward. I don't even want to go into this scene, but we have to. Perrin steps up to Rand. Rand's face just lights up when he smiles. He looked like he was gleeful in one point where like Perrin was in his face, and he has this, when he starts like laughing, like, oh, I should have seen this all along. His face like just totally lights up, and like, it's like not even his face anymore. It's, I don't know. I just noticed that. And then I noticed that Perrin has a very insincere, mean face. He has he has a good posture in the way he steps up to Rand, but he needs to work on that mean face a little bit if he wants to be a badass wolf man. That's pretty much the last note that I had, that he needs a meaner face.
There was a quote that Egwene says to Nynaeve saying, if Moraine wasn't a part of this, you would do it without thinking.
Right.
That she's only hesitant because it's Aes Sedai.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Nynaeve, like, I think is our stand-in for like everybody in the world, basically, who doesn't trust Aes Sedai, that look at them sideways and have a weird story to tell about an Aes Sedai. Like the Red Ajah came and took my buddy away, and Blue Ajah showed up and did this, and the Green Ajah, and, you know, fucked up our town. And I don't know. A point I wanted to make earlier was, in our times, in our world, in this Earth world we live in right now, we had like a big leak in our Supreme Court, and there's a band of people that I wanted to stand up and salute, which you are part of, the Satanic Temple, and they're actually more of a political organization, it seems like, than a religious organization, and they're not well liked. people like think of Satanists as like, oh, evil, automatically Satan. Mm-hmm. It seems to me that the Satanic Temple is on the side of right in almost every case that they show up in a court case.
Yeah.
That they're, fighting for equality, fighting against oppression, against oppressive religion. And it kind of reminds me of the Aes Sedai in a way, how like Aes Sedai are kind of looked at askance all the time, but actually they're just trying to do the right thing for everybody. They have a goal of goodness, but most people don't adhere to that.
Fingers crossed that it's not like a Jedi situation where the Jedi are actually pretty shitty people, a shitty organization, I should say. But I hope the Aes Sedai aren't shitty.
Yeah, I mean, I don't feel they're shitty at this point. I feel I feel there's different sects of them that are shitty. Mm-hmm. Just like, I think more or less like, the political party, the Democrat political party is more or less good, but there's certainly some shitty areas there, mm-hmm. So you can't just automatically say, oh yeah, I love Democrats. They're great. They're doing a great job, because it's hard to say that. So I think it's the same with the Aes Sedai, where there's some that are like the yellows and the whites and the browns that are like, everybody wants their knowledge and wants their help, but then it's the other ones that they're kind of skeptical of. The more extremist ones, you might say.
Yeah.
We got political with the Aes Sedai here. I don't know why we did that here at the end of the show.
Because it's the end of the show. People are like, oh, they've been a little goofy. We can get a little serious and then be good.
Yeah, so this is the end of our episode. We're about 35 minutes into the episode now, so we went a little more than usual. Into the episode of The Dark of the Ways, that is.
Yeah.
So next week we'll be like just watching like a 25-minute episode, basically. But did you watch ahead, or did you only watch up until this point?
I wanted to keep watching because I thought it was Matt, and I coming out of that gate, so I into the town. So I was like, oh, this is gonna be dope. It's probably not really Matt. It's someone masked as him. But
I'm sorry that I ruined that for you. But the city was definitely the city of Tar Valon that he was walking towards. Okay. And our city was definitely Faldara. There was differences that you can see. So I'm really sorry that I spoiled that for you, but I thought it was clear what had happened.
Dang it. Also, to throw back to something that happened in the beginning, the comic book author that I was talking about, that Nicole is like, I like that dude because he's always saying things suck. It's Tom King.
Okay, yeah, I'm not familiar with him.
Check him out.
I will. I want you to check out, James, the Big Book of Bad Art. I'm going to mail that over to you. Along with that, I'm going to mail some bonus comic books for you from Evan Dorkin, Milk and Cheese. Ooh. I think you will love these Milk and Cheese comics. You can mail them back to me, or you can not mail them back to me. It doesn't matter. But they're going to be in the post office too, probably next week at some point. So keep checking. You told me before, I sent you like a surprise package and didn't tell you. And then like I didn't hear about it for like 3 weeks. And I was like, I wonder if he even got that.
You can
yes, here's a warning.
We have a P.O. box. You can find it on all Mostly Speaking Sentai episode descriptions and others. I will just give you my... Also, I think you have our address.
I think I only have the P.O. I mean, maybe somewhere if I dig for it, but, right there is like a list that has your P.O. box on it. So
okay, well, I'll send you just my normal address, and I'll tell you how you probably already have it, but I don't want to say that on this podcast.
All right. And yes, I will never disclose the location of Foul Orchard Studios, even though it's mapped on Google Maps. I'll never disclose the location. So anyway, that is the end. So we're going to get into some plugs. James, plugs, my friend?
All right. Hey, guys, head over to mlmpod.com to find out information about my other podcasts, such as Mostly Speaking Sentai, Shuffling the Deck, and Hit It and Crit It. Please then go over to patreon.com/MLMpod. That's the best way to support me and my friends, where for $5 a month you get exclusive podcasts every single Friday. It's a good time.
Word. Me? I'm Introvoid, so you can check me out at Introvoid. I got a Substack that's called Introvoid. I got a Linktree, Introvoid. I got an Instagram, which is intro.void. Check it all out. Check out Rebecca Crow. For whatever reason, that little video that I put on for Rebecca Crow with the little baby foxes and it's got me playing guitar in the background, that crap has gone viral. I didn't even expect it to. I wanted the Introvoid stuff to go viral, but instead my throwaway video went viral. I don't know why that happens. But yeah, check that out, Rebecca Crow. Please check out the bands that I was discussing earlier. That's Chris Ratterree, the hip-hop dude. You got Murdersome, some metal, some speed metal. That was fantastic. And He Wolf. Always check out He Wolf. And from us at Sweet Child of Time, I think we're done. So it's time for me to say, James, as the Aiel say, as our pregnant Aiel women would always say, may you always find water and shade.
May you find water and shade as well.
Thanks, James. Bye.
Bye.